Okay, a good tavach, everyone. As we welcome in Saba, we welcome in Chaim Lerner, Nachman Chapler, Eddie Chazan, Aaron Swade, A.B. Spry, Yitzi Muller, Menachem Yemansky, Richard Rosenstock, Pechach Ziegelman, Yeshua Shmuel Eisenberg, Ilya Shutman, David Helfgott, on Kololosh, and Rabbi Isai. We are dedicated, as always, that every child that is looking to get into yeshiva should get in smoothly without heartache. Stuart Levy is just joining us here in Shul. Berish Gesseman is just arriving, perfect timing. Tonight's shir is also dedicated specially by Chaber Adaf Yitzi Muller in honor of his wife Chaya and their 25th anniversary. Mazel Tov to Yitzi and Chaya. What a tremendous thing to do, to remember your wife on learning Daf, because Daf is a shared couple venture. They share it together. They share the victories. They share the challenges. And Yitzi, you and Chaya should be zeicha, that you should be able to learn with Gesund, with Yeshiva Dash, and bringing her all of the schusim of your learning, ad biaskel tzedek. We also dedicate the shir l'refuah shlema for our Chaver Hadaf, Aaron Swade, who is making a big Kiddush Shem Shemayim. As you see, he has oxygen in his nose. He is struggling with breath. He has a lot of fluid, and he's going to need to have a little bit of a heart procedure. So we wish you, Aaron Ben Sarah, in the schus of your learning, and you're being mechazik all of us from learning even from the hospital. You should have a refuah shalema b'seich shachar Yisrael. You should get home safely and better than ever. Okay, Rabbi say, as we welcome in Irving Fishbaum joining us at the Mishnah. We're way ahead at the new Mishnah on Daf Lamed Aleph Amid Aleph. It's as we welcome in Chaim Braun, and I've said in the past that, Kale, the Almighty, is Hashem's name of strength, right? Micha moicha be'elim Hashem. El means strength. It's interesting that both of its readings, whether it's read Aleph Lamed, it's Al, which means no, and Lamed Aleph, like today's Daf, is also Loi. So you would think, is it the God of no? And the answer is, the ability to say no is our definition of might. Ezel Gibar HaKovesh Es Yitzro. To say no to temptation is a manifestation of might. So again, welcome everybody as we are arriving slowly this evening. Abba Steinhauser is here with us, and we are at the new Mishnah, Daf Lamed Aleph Amud Aleph, Hamaniach Peiris. Here's a person that instead of taking off Trumas and Maisrus from the crops, what he does is he sets a pile on the side, and he always says the Truma from this should be in that pile. And he has a pile in a certain stock room, which is his Truma. And he has another pile, which is his Meiser. So, Amaniach Peiris Liyos Mafresh Aleim Truma Umaisris, or Mois, he puts aside money, Liyos Mafresh Aleim Meiser Sheni, in the first, second, fourth, and fifth year of the Shemitah cycle, he says, let these Peiris be redeemed on that pile of money. Mafresh Aleim B'cheska Shein Kayamin. He doesn't have to go and check every time the storage place and see if the produce is still there and it's still fresh. Im Avdu. But if he comes in and he checks, and to his great chagrin, he sees that that pile that he was relying on is not there anymore. He has to worry about it 24 hours. Now, we'll learn now that this means that if he checked it and he wasn't there, he has to be afraid that anything he relied on in the 24 hours before he checked it, it was also missing. Divrei Rebbe Lazar. That's the opinion of Rebbe Lazar. Rebbe Yehuda says, if you put aside wine, that you're going to say the truma should be in that wine, or the meiser should be in that wine. Now, you have to make sure it doesn't become vinegar, because you cannot separate vinegar for wine. It's min b'she'enai minai. So Rabbi Yehuda Omer b'shloisha prakim boitkin es hayayin. You have to check wine at 3 periods. B'kidam shel motzei chag, when the eastern wind blows right after Sukkot, you have to check the wine then, because it could become sour. U'baitzah smother, and when grapes begin to bud. U'b'shas knisas mayim b'baiser, and also when the small grapes begin to fill up with juice, then you have to check the wine again to see if it's still good wine and it is not soured. And we welcome in Ben Zion Cohn, as we are holding at the new Gemara, Stephen Holtzman, as we are holding in the new Gemara on Daf Lamed Aleph Amud Aleph. So Maime Eis Leis, that's an ambiguous thing. It could be 24 hours. If you check it and you find it's missing, it's you have to be concerned about the 24 hours before you checked it. That might also have been missing. Or it could mean that you have to be concerned all the way back till after 24 hours when you put the wine there. So my meisla, Rabbi Yochanan meisla eishel bedika, 24 hours before you checked it. When you checked it and you saw that the stockpile is not there, you have to be worried that even 24 hours before that it was not there. While Rabbi Elazar ben Antignas, I'm a mishum Rabbi Elazar Rabbi Yanai, it means meisla eishel anocha. You only could be certain that it was still good 24 hours after you put it there. But all the way after 24 hours after you put it there, you have to worry already that it might have been sour or that it might have been missing. So now the Gemara says, well, it doesn't fit in the Mishnah, the second shot. Tzanan, im avdu, if it was lost, harizeh choishish me'eis la'eis, for 24 hours. Bishleim elamand yama me'eis la'eis shel bedika, it means 24 hours before you check the chopper. Elamandi me'eis la'eis is shel hanacha. It shouldn't say 20 hours. It should say hi me'eis la'eis. It should say ad me'eis la'eis miboyle. It should say you have to worry all the way back to 24 hours after you put it there. So kasha, that's shver on the second shot. Okay, just getting on the way on this beautiful Matzai Shabbos as we are learning 5 lines from the top of Daf Lamed Aleph Amud Beis with Divrei Rebbe Eliezer. This is the opinion of Rebbe Eliezer. Now, Amar Rebbe Eliezer tells us Chalukin alav chaveirav al Rebbe Eliezer. Now, this is when it says Amar Rebbe Eliezer. This is Rebbe Eliezer ben Pdas. This is a different Rebbe Eliezer. This is the Amoira Rebbe Eliezer ben Pdas, who's speaking about the opinion of Rebbe Eliezer ben Shamua in the Mishnah. The colleagues of Rebbe Eliezer ben Shamua argue on Rebbe Eliezer, and they hold that if you find that it's no good, you have to be concerned for the full time that it was no good. The Tanan, mikveh shenimdad v'nimtza chaser, a mikveh that used to be 40 sa, but you measured it and you found it to be deficient. Kol tarish shinasu al gabav l'mafreya, anything that you would toivel in it retroactively, bein b'rishus hayachid, bein b'rishus harabim, whether it was done in the rishus hayachid or in the rishus harabim. Normally, safek tum in the rishus harabim is tar, but over here, since when you would toivel the items, they had a cheskas tuma. So the last known presumptive status is its tame. Tameyos. So therefore, we don't give any grace period. We don't give 24 hours. We don't give anything. We say you thought it was good, but if you found it deficient, and anything you would toivel till the last time that you knew it was good, it's tame. So the Gemara says, well, pshita the chalukin. It's obvious that they argue with Rebbe Eliezer. Rebbe Eliezer says 24 hours. Says, what does it mean retroactive? It means retroactive only only for 24 hours. Kamash Malan, no, it means retroactive till the last time you checked it. and that they argue on Rabbi Elazar ben Shamua. And Rabbi say, let's get out the drum roll over here. As we get out the drum roll, as Mark Frankel has rejoined us. It's great to have you, Mark.
Missed you all. Good to be back, Rabbi.
It's great to have you, and it's great when our friends could take a vacation, and it's great that they could come back. We have to teach Mark how he should rearrange his eating out so that he should be able to join us even on vacation. I mean, Mark, when I go to Eretz Yisrael, I make sure to join you on vacation, and it's a completely different time zone. Okay, Mark is going to get.
Bring that up to the board of one.
Yeah. Okay. Listen. The life is long and Shas is huge, so we have time to make up. And Shelley Zeitlin has just joined us as the Olam is arriving, and we are holding in honor of Mark and Shelley. We're going to go to the two dots, which is 10 lines from the top of Lamed Aleph Amud Beis, 10 lines, and Sandy Grunfeld has joined us as well. We have to convince Sandy that he has to become part of our Zoom family and join us for Zoom. You would think there's nothing to be ashamed of. He's a handsome guy. He should come on over here. Come on, Sandy. We want to see you. You know, the Eilam wants to see. They keep on hearing Sandy Grunfeld. They want to know who he is. So come on, our Zoom family. We coax Richard Rosenzweig to do it. He still stands incognito a lot of times, but okay, beggars can't be choosy. So anyway, says the Gemara, Reb Yehuda Aimer Begimel Prakim, Reb Yehuda says 3 times a year, and one of them that you have to check to find out that the wine that you put aside to be mafresh truma didn't become sour. Tana bekidum shel motzei achag. It's when the eastern wind blows after Sukkot. Shel tekufa. Here the Gemara adds a detail. It's only when it's already the autumnal equinox has already passed, and it's already the winter solstice. It's already in the Tekufas Tishrei. If it's, however, an early year and it's still in the summer, then you don't have to check. Tanya, we learned in a Brisa. Now here the next Gemara shifts to an interesting aside, and that is partners, if they want to liquidate some of their produce, at certain times they don't have to ask their partner for permission to liquidate, because it's a certainly good time to sell. Rabbi Yehuda says, Begimel Prakim, at 3 periods, Moichrin es atfua, a partner could sell the crops even without asking the other partner, because it's certainly a time to sell. Lefnei Azera, before the planting season, where people want to buy for the seed, or B'shas Azera, during the planting season, or B'Preis HaPesach, and 15 days before Pesach. In 3 seasons you could sell wine without getting the green light from your partner. B'Preis HaPesach, 15 days before Pesach. B'Preis HaTzeres, 15 days before Shavuos. Or B'Preis HaChag, and 15 days before Sukkot. V'Shemen, and oil, it's a good time, Me'atzeres V'Elach, from Shavuos and onward. Says the Gemara. Now I gave you the scoop as we welcome in Gedalia Engel. Gedalia, if you need a ride, next time we can give you a ride. We can fix it. Gedalia lives 2 houses away from me, but sometimes, you know what it is, after a long Shabbos, you know. So Gedalia, if you need a ride, we could arrange it.
It's 4 houses, not 2.
Oh, that's why I didn't understand. Barish, could you pick up Gedalia, please? So says the Gemara, Lamai Hilchasa and Gedalia, we are on Lamed Aleph Amud Beis, about 20 lines from the top. It's more like 17 lines from the top, but who's counting? Says Gemara Lamai Hilchasa. So as I told you, I'm a Rabbi B'Yisem Rapapa L'Shutfin. It's for partners. That partners at these periods could sell their produce without getting the green light from the other partner. What about after these times? Amarava, after these times, it's still hot. Kol yume pirkeu. Every day is a good season to sell. And now the Gemara gets into a tangential discussion about winds. Winds are very important. Ma'ashiva ruach u'moyred agoshem. The world can't exist without wind. Now, most people, wind is an annoyance. Oh, it's so windy. But the wind brings the clouds to where the rain is necessary. The wind cools us off from things not being too hot and too dry. There was also ferocious winds, which we wouldn't be able to survive if not for divine protection. So the Gemara tells us now, Vayihi kizroyach hashemesh. This we learned this on Yom Kippur. We're learning in the Mishnah Yomi Yuma. We learned this on Yom Kippur in the Mafter Yaina. Vayihi kizroyach hashemesh, when the sun shone. Vayaman elikim, and Hashem appointed ruach kodim charishis, a strong eastern wind. So the Gemara wonders, what's the language charishis? My charishis. Amr Reb Yehuda b'shoshim and Hasheves, when it blows, oisa tlomim b'yam. It's so ferocious that it makes like furrows in the sea. Says the Gemara, no, but that's not what it's referring to. Remember that Yaina would lose his kikoyin, the plant, and the pasuk was saying that it made it very hot, and therefore it can't just mean that it's a strong wind, because Amalei Rabba Ihachi, what's the follow up? Hainu d'chsiv v'tacha shemesh al rosh Yaina, and the sun beat on the head of Yaina v'yisalef, and he fainted, or he felt faint. Ela Amar Rabba b'shoshin min hasheves, when the eastern wind blows, mishasekes kol haruach mipaneh, it silences. Cherish is like a lashon of deafen. It causes, it silences, and it causes to deafen, not to be heard, the coolness of all other winds. It was a very hot wind. V'ainu d'chsiv, that's what it says. Asher b'godecha chamim, your clothing are hot. Bahashkit eretz midarin, when the land is silenced from the south. Amar Rav Tachlifa bar Rav Chisda, Amar Rav Chisda, imasai b'godecha chamim, when is your clothing hot? B'shoshe hishkit eretz midarin, when it's silenced from the south. Shebishoshe min hasheves, when the eastern wind blows, mishasekes kol haruchos mipaneh, it silences the coolness of all the other winds. Now this is a Gemara that my Talmidim hear me quote often. This is the source of the Gemara. It's a Gemara that I quote very often. Rav Huna v'Rav Chisda have a yosvei. Rav Huna and Rav Chisda was sitting. Cholef v'ozil gniva alayu. Gniva, who was a Talmud Chacham, passed by them. Amar chad l'chavrei, so they said to one to the other, Neikim mikabei, we should stand up for him. Debar orayanu is a Torah man. And it says, Mipnei seva tokim v'adar to pnei zaken. Zaken is a Torah man. Zekon chachma. Amalei idach mikame palga neikim. Should we stand up for an argumentative person? Should we stand up for a quarrelsome person? The Torah is the antithesis. Gniva was a quarrelsome person. And the Torah is peace. Can't be a ben Torah and a quarrelsome person. In the meantime, he came before them. Amalu, he said to them, what are you talking about? Amrulei beruchais. So they said to him, we're talking about the subject of winds. So he told them, a Torah dictum about winds. Amalu Achiyam Rav Chanan bar Rav Amar Rav. So did Rav Chanan bar Rav say in the name of Rav. Dalid Ruchais Menashvais B'chol Yom. The 4 winds blow every day in 6-hour shifts. V'ruach tzefainis menasheves im kulan. They're all accompanied by the northern wind that tempers their effects. Shel mole kain, if the northern wind wouldn't blow with the other winds, eino ilam miskayim afilu sha'achas. The northern wind tempers the ill effects of the other wind. V'ruach draimis kashim mikulan. The fiercest wind is the southern wind. The hottest wind is the eastern wind, but the fiercest wind is the southern wind. V'ilmole ben nates mamida, and if the angel that's called Ben Nates would not stand and block it, machreves kol ha'olam kuloi miponeh. The whole world would be destroyed from it. Shenemar, when Eve was being chastised, Hashem said, "Hamibinoska ya'aver Nates." With your understanding, does the Malach Nates spread out its limbs? Yifrois knafav l'teiman, spreading its wings to block the southern wind. Rav and Rav Nachman Yitzchak have a Yosvei. They were sitting. Have a Chalifa Ozil Rav Nachman bar Yaakov. The great Rav Nachman bar Yaakov passed by. The Yosef beguharka dedava. He was sitting in a golden chariot. Oporis alei sarbala de crazy, and spread over him was a greenish cloak. Rava Azul Gabe. Rava went to greet him. Now, Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak did not know it was the great Rav Nachman bar Yaakov. He thought, seeing the official chariot, the royal chariot, he thought it was a member, an officer of the Reish Galusa. So Rava, who was the Rav of Mechuzah, needed to have relations with them. So he figured, Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak le'azal gabei. Amar, Dilma me'inche de Reish Galusa. It's an important official of the house of the Reish Galusa. Rav tzachlo, Rav as the Rav of Mechuzah, he needs to have relations. But I don't have to take away time for my learning. Oh, then he saw it was the great Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak. Rav Nachman bar Yaakov, Kidachazad, Rav Nachman bar Yaakov, have also legabei. He also went there. And the Gemara tells us, incidentally, Golei Ladare, Rav Nachman bar Yaakov was hot. He had to roll up his sleeves. Amar Shad Yonoshiv. The wind that's blowing this chariot, the eastern wind is blowing, that makes everything hot. Amar Rava, Hachi Amar Rav, so said Rav, Isha Mapeles Bay. The eastern wind, if a person doesn't protect themselves, a woman could miscarry from the heat. Even the pearls that are in the shells in the sea can deteriorate and degenerate because of the heat. It could cause even the semen in a woman's womb to spoil. All three expound the same pasuk. Although he's fruitful amongst the brothers, Yavai Kodim, the eastern wind will come, Ruach Hashem, the wind of Hashem, a midbar oila, coming up from the desert, V'yeveish mikarei, and cause the source to dry up. Yeveish mikarei, Zimikar Shalisha, that's the womb of a woman, that it could cause a child to cause a miscarriage. V'yachrav mayanai, and dry up the fountain. That's the semen in a woman's womb. The pasuk continues, Hu yishseh oiser, it will cause the storage to be plundered. Kol klei chemda, every desirous utensil. Zuma gol yishabiyam, that's even that which is in the shell in the sea, even a pearl in a shell. Amar Rava, Adi sura'ahu, This drasha comes from the Chachmei Surah. The Daike Kroi, they very carefully study Psukim. So what does it mean, my kihu bein achim yafrei, although it's fruitful amongst the brothers? So they're going to darshan yafri to mean yarfi. They're going to spin the letters a little bit, and yafri will become yarfi, which means loosen. And the heat is going to cause things that are attached like brothers to loosen. Amarava is a very interesting drasha. Amarava afilu, even shufsa bikupina demara, even the handle that's inserted into the hole of a hoe. You put a handle in the hole, and it's tight, but the heat of the wind will loosen it. Afilu shufsa b'kapina demara rafia. It'll become loosened. It'll become loose. Rav Yosef, I'm in the same idea. Afilu sichsa b'dafna rafia. Even a peg in the wall will become loose. Rav Acha bar Yaakov, afilu kanya b'kufsa. Even a wicker reed in a wicker basket, rafia, will become loose from the heat of the eastern wind. Hadron la kolaget. Hadron la kolaget. Hadron Allah kolaget. Okay, we just pause a moment to change over the tape over here.